Hey, it's John and Mike, brew-dudes.com, and we have the next pick from our picks. I guess that was the 10th pick back in April, and here we are a few months later to drink the second beer, and I believe this one was the American Light Lager pick, right, Mike?
Yep.
All right.
1A.
1A, so starting from the very beginning.
Right from the top.
That's crazy. Okay, so we all know what this is all about. We even tasted commercial examples of this on the program.
Just to guide our palates.
So tell us more about how you came to this beer.
So I took a few small liberties to make an American Light Lager, just to break away from the norm of what a macro industrialized light lager would be, but still trying to hit the same profile. So very light flavor, very crisp profile, very light color. Instead of Pilsner malt, I used the lowest colored, just American two-row I could get, because that's what I want to do, and I have a huge amount of it, and I just said, I'm going to use this. And then, so this is for a 3.5 gallon batch. This is 3 pounds of two-row, American two-row, and 1 pound of rice solids.
Okay.
So interestingly, I was looking for like rice solid syrup, but I received some pretty good advice from the guy at the Homebrew store. He says the problem with the syrups is that it's going to color more than the solids, because just oxidation, water, and the heating process. So I was like, okay, cool, because I want it to stay light in color. So that was good. So it's just, right. And in fact, it's actually hard to get the syrup. So the solids are the way to go, because it's more shelf stable. So the mashing profile on this baby, just to try to dry it out as much as I can, I did 60 minutes at 145 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I bumped up, I ramped up and held it 10 minutes at 158. And then I went to mash out at 168 for another 10 minutes, ramped and held for that. My pre-boil gravity on this was 1038.
Yep.
And my post-boil gravity was 1041. And the finishing gravity is about 1008 for an ABV of 4.3, which is right in the ballpark of all those commercial versions. Really? For hops on this, I used a scant.
I was going to say
a scant amount.
A
scant amount of. I had some Tettnang, so I think I put in. It was like half of an ounce. So what is that? 14 grams of a Tettnang at 60 minutes, just to put some sort of bittering in there. And then I just did like 1/4 ounce of Tettnang again, and 1/4 ounce of, this is non-traditional, of a little Cascade somewhere right with like 10 minutes to go, just because I felt like it, but I didn't expect to get much out of it. I'm just trying to put some sort of character on the nose, just barely. And then I also, a little non-traditional, because for me, in my mind, this is an American Light Lager. Why not just keep going modern with it as a homebrew American Light Lager? I fermented this with NovaLager yeast.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to go Nova, because in the past when we've worked with it, it's really just sort of been very blank, and I just want to taste the ingredients and have some alcohol. So at 4.2, 4.3%, I think that's the deal there. So
no enzymes, nothing to.
No, because so the problem with using enzymes, right, would be you're going to dry it out more, but it's going to raise your ABV. Right? Yeah. So if I was to get this down to, say, a 1004 or 1003, which doesn't really sound appealing to me, I mean, that's a few more points that would drive the gravity up. So then I'd have to be playing with it. And you just don't know, unless you're using those enzymes all the time, what the impact's going to be. So then readjusting what the starting gravity is to get what I want, a little bit of a challenge. And it's not necessary. I mean, it's a cool idea for sure. Yeah. But I'm not trying to make a brute. Right. So those things have their place. I think they have a better place in much bigger beers. Right, significantly bigger beers.
Right, to bring it down.
Yeah, so it's been lagering for a few weeks. It could probably definitely do a couple more weeks, because it's got a bit of a chill haze, if you want to call it that. I mean, you can see through it because there isn't much to holding it back, but it is what it is. So there you go. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Well, it took my palate a few sips to get acquainted with this beer. Yeah. But once it does, then it's just like I'd like to have some more. I'm sure the people who are watching the video are like, that dude is really going after it here. So on the nose, I'm trying to pick up anything, but maybe some slight yeasty, like I wouldn't even say they're estery notes. Maybe a little sulfur, but that just might be like my brain trying to put it there. But it's pretty clean. NovaLager coming through. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. There's not really, just a little bit of the, little bit of grain, not much of the hops, and then yeah, it's already kind of estery. And then it just, you know, it is reminiscent of Nightlight, you know?
Yeah, because it is, well, it's not all malts, but yeah, it doesn't have, you know, so it's interesting.
Yeah. Our friends at Night Shift Brewery, Brewing.
I think what I get on that aroma actually is the rice solids.
Oh, yeah.
Because smelling them, it's not like, you might not be able to relate to this, but
try me.
My wife has a heating pad that's actually just a big bag of like white rice.
Okay.
And you microwave it, and you use that as a heating pad if you've got a muscle spasm or something. And it just has a very ricey smell to it. Or if you just take a bag of rice, or you smell it, it has a very distinct sweet, like ricey aroma, and that's what I get off of here, which to me makes a little sense. If the Nova did its job, meaning it fermented it and didn't contribute anything to the party, then the rice aroma would probably be a little bit amplified there. I mean, it's 25% of the fermentables, right? Totally. So I could have gone higher. I'm glad I didn't, because I think you'd perceive even more of that. Esters are sweet, so it kind of has a little bit of that sweet thing going to it. To me, it's the rice. I can just smell the rice. I'm glad I didn't put corn in there, because I would rather have it be ricey than corny.
Yeah.
I think so. Another thing too, I did this on the Brewzilla, and so my pre-boil gravity was 1038, my post-boil gravity was 1040. The reality is, the boil on that thing is anemic, right? It boils, but it doesn't boil really vigorously. So if I had transferred that into a regular pot with propane and really boiled it harder, maybe some of that would have been driven off a little bit.
Okay.
I don't think it's like a DMS issue, but because it doesn't smell like DMS to me. It's ricey. I just think some of those volatiles would have come off. The one thing with this style of beer that I want that to me makes it work is when you won't be able to get it now because you've already had some.
Yep.
But when you have like any one of those macro lagers, whether it be the heavy version or the light version, that first aroma, that first sip, has that very zippy, spicy thing. Yeah. Then your palate adjusts to it because it's only like 8 IBUs, 12 IBUs, and then you become numb, palate numb to it right away. But that first sip of any one of those macro beers, to me, is what beer is. We've said that before. Sure. But then it just goes away, and as the beer warms up, it turns swillish, But to me, as long as I could get that aroma and that taste on that first sip, then I figure it worked. And I think that Tettnang coming through a little bit to that, just enough of that spiciness, and then you sort of go blind to it after that. Yeah. So when I first was sampling it earlier, I got that for sure. And then this pour, maybe because my palate's still blind to it, but it's just one of those things. I think when you crack open that first ice cold Miller Lite, Bud Light, whatever, you get it, you're like, oh wow, and then it's like, man, this beer is insipid.
Yeah, I think it's also the temperature. All the good beer moments I've had with those types of beers, that it is ice cold,
super cold,
and it's because of whatever the situation is. That an ice cold beer makes the scene, and that's why you enjoy it so much. Finish is dry, light body. I think you nailed all the different characteristics of this one. It's just funny that, to me, it reminds me of our local breweries, their take on a American light lager, right?
Yeah.
So.
And maybe because those local breweries started as home brewers too, maybe there's a common thread there that is basically not industrialization.
Right.
Super clean, super, like something that can only happen on scale, like that huge scale,
sure.
right? So I don't know. And on some beechwood aging, I didn't beechwood age this, so
get some beechwood.
maybe it'd be cleaner, clearer.
Potentially. All right.
But I like it.
Yeah,
it's gonna drink.
Very good. It's going to drink, and as the calendar turns even deeper into summer, this will be a nice one.
Yeah,
that's for
I don't know
sure.
if I put that on camera yet, but we'll just
Give that to the folks. That's what they're looking for. Okay.
light lager, baby.
All right. Well, then that concludes this segment of the Jar of Destiny series. We have another pick to make to continue it on into 2024. So stay tuned for that. We may do that next week. Grab another coin from the old jar and let it tell us what we'll brew next. Can't wait.
What brewery will we save this time?
What's that?
What brewery will we save
Yeah, I
this
know.
time?
I don't know which one is in. That's really, it's funny. We'll figure that out. I was just gonna like yammer on. I'm like, dude, just wrap it up.
Next time.
That's right. We'll talk about it later. Just these beers. Okay. Well, hopefully you like this, because if you did, we'll see it in the old details on the YouTube video. So give us a thumbs up. Click that. Smash that like button. Subscribe to our channel, because we do this kind of thing every single week. For John and Mike, brew-dudes.com. Brew on.
Cheers.